Hi, I'm Tim and thanks for watching this video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at this, which is the new release from SMLight, and it's their SLZB Ultima, which apparently is an all-in-one device which does basically everything. So what we'll do is we'll take a closer look at the device and we'll go through some of the specifications, and then what we'll also be doing is, as SMLight have sent me some add-ons, namely this, which is the PoE add-on, this, which is their 4G add-on, and also this, which is their Z-Wave add-on. So what we'll be doing is, as I've said, we'll go through the specifications, take a closer look, see what the device has to offer, and then we'll be putting these add-ons into the device, which you have to do yourself. So I've never done this before, so it will be the first time. So what we'll do is get right to it and get started now. So here we are, and as you can see with the box, it's the SLZB Ultima from SMLight, and it's their multi-radio, multi-peripheral smart adapter. So it supports red and matter, Wi-Fi, USB ports, mic ready, 4G ready, buzzer, PoE ready, Ethernet, Zigbee support, Bluetooth, Z-Wave ready, infrared receiver, infrared transmitter, UPS ready, Ambilight, WS2812, and also 3.5 audio out. So in the package you get the device itself, 2 antennas, and also if you're buying any extras you'll get those extras. So as I've said, they've sent to me the 4G add-on, which is here. So this was in this small packet, and it's got an antenna connection, the chip, the header where you plug it into the circuit board, and also on the back there's a SIM card slot there. And the second edition is the Z-Wave add-on. So as you can see, this is a tiny circuit with the antenna connection there, and also the header connection, which just plugs into the circuit board on the device. We also have the PoE add-on, so we can power this via PoE. So here is the add-on for that. As you can see, it's small again, with the header connection. On the back there's the various circuitry there, and with the add-on you also get the extra antennas. So this is, on the label it says 900 megahertz, so that will be for Z-Wave, and this is the 4G antenna, which is labeled 4G antenna, and you get the standard antennas with that, which comes without the extras, so you get 2 antennas there. So what we'll do is put these boxes to one side, and then what we're going to do is, for the first time, which I've never done yet, is to add the add-on circuits into this device. Now I've read the instructions about removing the cover. Now it doesn't have any screws which you can remove, so what you have to do is use a screwdriver or a tool, which I've got here, which came free with something, and it's an opener. So it's a small opening tool, as you'll see there. So they are telling you to first insert it into where the USB slot is, at the back in the center there. Now I'm not confident about doing that. I noticed that there's a slot here where you can insert something to release it. So if you hear that, it clicks. So what we can do is twist it, and then we can move around, gradually releasing, and it clicks in out. So that's the way to open it, I find. So what we've done is opened it from the right side. So if the LED thing here is at the front, it would be on the right corner there where the right side antenna is. So that's the best place that I found to first insert the screwdriver or the tool, and then it should just click out and release, which does sound a bit harsh, to be honest, and I think you'd have to be careful, so do be gentle with it in case you break any of the clips and notches. I would have liked to have seen, I think, probably screws that you could just unscrew at the bottom, which then held the top into place. So say, for example, a couple of screws which you could just release and then the top would release a lot easier. So that would have been a better design, I think, slightly. So inside we get the full circuit board. There you can see. It's got LEDs and the header pins there, which we use to extend. So what we'll do is we'll take a closer look now. So I'll get my reading glasses so that I can see the circuit board and the labels properly, and then I'll be right back in a second. So here we go. So this is the ZG23 antenna, which goes in there. So these antennas, you need to push out the holes at the end to insert the antenna connections. So these will actually protrude out of the side. So you need to actually break those away, if you can hopefully see that, which I don't know how I'm going to do. So I'll remove the circuit board and then I think I'll push it from the inside out and hopefully it will release it. And yes, they do pop out quite easily, as you can see. So that's one, and then the opposite side, let's do it from the inside out on a flat surface and then break it, and it just releases the edges of that connector there, so that you now have the holes, as you'll see there, either side. So then we can put the circuit board back in place. The PoE add-on, so that's labelled PoE add-on here. So what we'll do is connect the PoE add-on, and it does have 6 pins on that. So that's the PoE out, and then there's a PoE in. So as it's got 6 pins on it and then 2 pins either side, so here total it's got 6, and then there's another connector there with 4 pins. So this goes across the 2 connectors, which you can see there, next to this LED that protrudes up. So once you've lined them up, which we'll try and do, so this sits with the components facing upwards. So line them both up, be careful not to bend any of the pins, and then it just sits easily in place. And it does go in easily, I have to say. It's really easy to put in. So that's the PoE circuitry. So we can now power it via PoE. Then we have the 4G add-on. So here is the 4G add-on. It is actually labelled 4G. So what we'll do is put that one in place. But before we do that, we need to connect the antenna to and through the hole there at this side. So we'll unscrew this, remove the washer. So there's 2 washers in there, one for one side and one for the other side. So I think what we need to do is lift out the circuit board to make it easier, and then put the antenna connection through, which is threaded. So you need to thread it through and twist it round to get it in through the hole. So it's quite a tight fit, which is good to see. So that's now in place. So what we'll do is put the washer back on the end, and then the nut on the end of the antenna connection, and then tighten that up to make sure it's finger tight. So there, and then we have that in place. So I think what we'll do is we'll do that with the other side as well first before we put the circuit back in. So we'll unscrew the nut, then the washer, thread the antenna connection through the hole, and that just pushes in actually. So if you push it firmly, it does go straight in without having to twist this into place. So then we'll put the washer back on, then the nut, finger tighten these up, and there we have the 2 circuits. So we'll move the cables back out the way for a second, put the circuit board back in the right way, and there we have the 2 antenna connections for 4G and also for Z-Wave. So they're back in place now. So what we'll do is connect up the circuits. So that's the ESLZB add-on. So that will be for this connector here. So this is the Z-Wave add-on, which goes, if you're looking at it from the front, which will be this side, so it's a shorter side is the front. The Z-Wave circuit goes at the left-hand side, pushes into place, and then the 4G add-on goes at the right-hand side. So there we have the 3 add-ons, one for PoE, which is the center one there. Left side is the Z-Wave and the right side is the 4G add-on. So make sure that the cables are tucked in, and then what we can do is replace the cover, which just clicks down into place and locks. Just gently click it into place all the way around to make sure that it's seated properly, and there we go. So that's the upgrade done, and I have to say that was fairly easy, just a little bit fiddly, which you can expect with the size of the device. So now what we can do is put the antennas in place. So if you recall, the right side was the 4G add-on. So we'll put in the 4G antenna, which is labeled 4G, and then we have the 900 megahertz antenna there, and this goes to the left side for the Z-Wave, and then the other 2 standard antennas for Zigbee and Matter over Thread go to the back of the device, as you can see here. So it doesn't matter which one you use for which, as they're both the same. So there we have it, the SMLight SLZB-Ultima all-in-one controller. So what we'll do now is go through the specifications. We have a USB-C, that's a downstream port at the front left there. Then here in this center we have the ambilight, which you can control and change the colors. Then we have at the right hand side an infrared receiver, and there's also a second USB-C port there. So that's the infrared receiver at the right hand side. We have another USB-A port, and that's the downstream USB-A. Then at the top here we have the infrared transmitter. Then we have 3 buttons which you can use to control the device. So those are the standard buttons like you would see on the SLZB series, where you have to just press them with a pin, as they're quite recessed, they're quite small buttons. So there's 3 of those buttons. Then we have some system LEDs. So there should be 4 LEDs there, but I think it means that there's 4 colours of LEDs, to be honest. Then we have a buzzer, which is inside this grill here at the left hand side. We have the DIY connector inside, which we've done for Z-Wave. And then at the back of the device, we have another USB-C port, and that's the upstream port. Then we have the RJ45 Ethernet connection with, of course, the PoE add-on next to it inside, which we've just inserted. And then we have the audio out connector next to and just below the RJ45 connector there. So that is the SLZB Ultima. So what we'll do now is we'll go to the website and take a look and see what facilities and functions they're showing that this can do. We'll just power it on and make sure that it works. So I do have a Ethernet cable here, which you can see. So we'll plug it in and hopefully we'll get some status lights. And we did. If you heard the beep, it's now showing as a green LED across the LED bar. Now there's 12 LEDs inside there to light it up. So that means that it's powered on. So what we'll do is just unplug it for a second. And then in a follow-up video, we'll go through the web interface and see what the web interface is like and what features and functions are in there. But to end this video, what we'll do is take a quick look at the website, go through the specifications and see what this device has to offer according to the website. So we'll get onto that right now. So here we are at the website, and you'll see that the SLZB Ultima, the ultimate Smart Home ESP32-S3 based powerhouse. Now there we get the Zigbee thread antenna, which I've mentioned. The ZigBee thread antenna at the back is the second one. Z-Wave, which we've installed and which I've just shown you. And we get the 4G LTE add-on antenna, which we've also done the upgrade for. Then there's also a DIY connector, which I didn't mention inside at the left-hand side back. And that's for I2C GPIO. So it fits SMLight UPS with solar panel. So you can actually power it via solar panel and the SMLight UPS. I mentioned that there's the buzzer inside the grill. 4 LEDs. According to this, there's LEDs 4, but however, I've noticed that there's only 2 holes there. So maybe that's just an oversight, or maybe I'm telling you slightly incorrectly. But we'll find out in the next video once the LEDs illuminate. There's 3 buttons there for user control, which I don't know what they do yet. There's the microphone, Type-C downstream USB port, WS2812B LED ambilight, which we saw lighted up green when I first plugged in the Ethernet and PoE power. The IR receiver, which I mentioned, USB-A downstream at the right hand side, infrared transmitter at the top, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 2.4, and then the Type-C upstream, which is also at the back there, and of course the RJ45 Ethernet with the PoE add-on. So if we scroll down, you'll see that it's saying that the SLZB Ultima is a no-compromise smart home powerhouse designed for advanced users, system integrators and enthusiasts who want maximum protocol coverage. So as it mentions there, if you're a newbie and newly starting into Home Assistant and ZigBee, for example, or Matter over Thread, then probably this is not the model for you. But if you're, for example, like it says, a system integrator or an advanced user with many functions that you want in Home Assistant, for example, such as 4G, infrared, ZigBee, Matter over Thread and everything all in one, and also Z-Wave of course, then this is probably the model for you. So it's saying it's got a CC26XXP for ZigBee and Thread, so that's the chip. 4G LTE add-on, ESP32-S3 for Bluetooth, buzzer, WireGuard, so it does support WireGuard like the other models. OTA updates like the other models, WS2812B, RGB LEDs, which is the LED strip. Then we get the EFR32, which is the second ZigBee and Thread radio, infrared receiver, infrared transmitter, Z-Wave 800 add-on, USB host, ESP32 for Wi-Fi, I2C and GPIO pins, and of course DDNS. So if we scroll down, you'll see there's various pictures here, and you can also of course put add-ons with the plug-in add-ons there for USB connections. So if you want an external antenna for say another ZigBee setup, then you could plug that in there. So if we scroll down further, there's various YouTube videos about this already. Then it mentions about the chips, which I'll put links in the video description so you can read this in full detail if you want to do so. And there we go. So we just have a look at the other tab. So this one is where you can purchase it from. So if you want to get one, you can get it from SmartLight. And again, I'll put links in the video description. So if you want the basic model, it works out at about $48. So that's US dollars. But if you want the add-ons, say the ones that I've shown you just in this video with me installing them, is the PoE add-on, 4G and Z-Wave, which is not yet certified. So if you want those 3 add-ons, or if you want the microphone and UPS add-ons as well, then that will push the price up a little bit more. But if you want the 3 that I've just mentioned and just shown you being installed, then it will cost you about $88. So then if we go to the next page, here's the manuals for it. Now these are currently being updated all the time, so do keep a lookout for further updates to the user manuals as they're still working on them at the moment. So here it's telling you how to open the device. Now here it's showing you a screwdriver with the top of the USB-C port at the back, which I mentioned and showed you. I wasn't confident to do that rather than risking bending the USB-C connector, which is why I went to the corner of the device and did it from that corner first and then worked my way around to release it, which I found is easier. So there it shows you how to do that, and it also shows you the snap locations where the connectors, so the lid and the base, link together, with the connectors. But if you go around carefully round the device like I did, you shouldn't have any problems, but just be gentle with it anyway. Then it shows you on the next page the manuals for installing the add-ons. So it shows you the pictures there, one for the microphone add-on, which is this one here, Z-Wave, PoE and 4G LTE, which is what we did and what I showed you. And there we go. So that will do it for this video without making it too long. Now in the next video, once I've familiarised myself with the web interface, I'll bring you a second video in this series showing you inside the web interface and what features and facilities it has in there. So thanks for watching this video, hope you found it useful, and I'll be back soon with more videos. Bye for now.